All right, guys, Mikey here from Mikey's Iron Rage. And guys, I hope everyone is staying safe out there with this whole coronavirus shit, because here in New York City, it is still so bad. But I digress, because who knows when this shit is gonna end. But anyways, on a lighter note, I got another banger of a comparison video for you again today. And it's going to be a good one. Between 2019 third place Mr. Olympia finisher, Hadi Choopan, versus 2006 Lee Priest at the Ironman Pro, which he won in convincing fashion. It was always one of my favorite Lee Priest performances of all time. Then on the other side of this awesome comparison video, we got the Iranian Hulk, Hadi Choopan, and man, did he look unbelievable at the 2019 Mr. Olympia, where in my opinion, he should have placed second or even first for that matter. That's how good Hadi was at the 2019 Mr. Olympia. So I figured, let's put these two up against each other because they match up very well against one another. Hadi Choopan at 5'5" and Lee Priest at 5'4", and they might be short, but they both stand up on stage with guys that are 4 or 5 inches taller and bigger, and they still hold their own, which is mind-blowing when you think about it. So guys, with that being said, let's just jump right into this one. So without any further ado, let's get it on. And we got the first pose of the night, guys, the front relaxed. And I'm going to go and I'm going to give Lee Priest the first point. I think Lee Priest just looks a little bit better. If Hadi Choopan's lats were flaring out a little bit more and his midsection was a little bit tighter in this pose, he would look way better because he's got such a sick set of quads. But Lee Priest, he's a little wider, I think, in this pose, if not the same width as Hadi, but his lats are flaring out so much more and his midsection looks so much better. It looks like he has a fucking 8-pack. And Lee Priest, on the other hand, has a great set of quads. I mean, they might have not been the best here in 2006 like they were in 1997, but they were really good. So all in all, I'm going to give the first point to Lee Priest. All right, guys, off to the next pose, and we got the ab and thigh. And I'm going to give this one to Hadi Choopan. Hadi Choopan just has such ripped midsection. Look at how ripped that midsection is. I mean, the abs are so deeply cut. Then he's got a nice V-taper and a huge chest and huge quads for that matter. And Lee Priest, on the other hand, I know that the picture quality isn't the greatest, but he looks good, but not as good as Hadi. And his midsection isn't as tight and it isn't fucking as ripped as Hadi Choopan. So Hadi Choopan is going to get the point for the ab and thigh. All right, guys, off to the next pose, and we got the side tricep. And look at Lee Priest. He's got such a thick tricep, and it's deeply cut. So I'm going to give Lee Priest the point. I mean, Hadi Choopan's got a decent tricep and a decent silhouette in this pose, but Lee Priest just looks a little bit better. And like I said, his tricep looks a little thicker and it's more deeply cut. All right, guys, now we got the front lat spread. And look at how much more wider Hadi Choopan is compared to Lee Priest in this pose. Now, Lee Priest in 1997, 1998, 1999, he looked a little bit wider in this pose because his midsection was tighter. Now, what I love about Hadi Choopan in this pose, I love the way his physique comes to a V. His shoulders come nice and wide, and as you come down the physique to the midsection, it comes very narrow. So it looks like a great V shape. So all in all, Hadi Choopan is going to get the point for the front lat spread. It's just amazing. What an amazing front lat spread he's got. All right, guys, now we got the side chest shot, and this one's going to go to Lee Priest. Lee Priest just looks drier, and I know that the picture quality isn't the greatest, like I said before, but you could so tell Lee Priest has a way better side chest, and his arms and shoulders look a lot better. The side sweep to the quads look great, so all in all, Lee Priest is going to get the point for the side chest pose. All right, guys, now we got the hands clasped most muscular. And this was probably the hardest pose for me to judge out of this whole fucking comparison video. But I am going to go with Hadi, just because Hadi has a bigger chest. If Lee Priest had a bigger chest like Hadi Choopan, Lee Priest might have one of the best hands clasped most muscular poses I've ever seen. Just because he has such big arms and shoulders and a great midsection and great quads. But Hadi Choopan just looks a little bit better and a little bit wider, and he's got a bigger chest. That chest on Lee Priest is just very small, but I digress. All right, guys, now we got the front double bicep, and whether Hadi Choopan was using oil or not, which I think he was, no way he's beating Lee Priest in this fucking pose. I mean, look at Lee's arms. They're fucking huge. He's got huge biceps, huge triceps, great silhouette, unbelievable quads, a great V-taper. Don't get me wrong, Hadi looks really good. He looks nice and dry, but against Lee Priest, not a lot of guys are going to beat Lee Priest in the front double bicep, I tell you that. All right, guys, off to the next pose, and we got the rear lat spread. And Lee Priest is not as wide as Hadi whatsoever. Sorry, guys. Hadi Choopan is super wide, and it looks like he has a piece of fucking armor on his back, just like Phil Heath. I mean, the way the traps are sunk in and the lat insertions are just unbelievable. So all in all, Hadi's going to get the point. But Lee Priest looks pretty good. The traps are pretty sunk in. The hams and glutes look good. But all in all, Hadi's going to get that one. All right, guys, now we got the last pose of the night, the rear double bicep, and it's pretty much all tied up here. And I'm going to go with Hadi Choopan. If Lee Priest had a better back, I could see Lee Priest placing top 3 at the Mr. Olympia contests, like in 1997, 98, 99, but he doesn't. So Hadi Choopan's going to get the point. I mean, look at Hadi's traps, how sunk in they are. Then he's got a great lower back, great hams and glutes, big-ass shoulders. His arms aren't as big as Lee's, but his shoulders are definitely bigger than Lee's, and he's definitely wider than Lee. So all in all, Hadi Choopan is going to get the last point for the rear double bicep, making it 5-4, Hadi Choopan. Wow. So Hadi Choopan takes this competition. And you know what, though, guys? It could have went either way. But if only Lee Priest had a bigger fucking chest, he would kill it. And a little bit of a better back, because his back development isn't the greatest. But I digress. So guys, let me know what you think about this awesome comparison video, and who do you really think was better? Mikey's Iron Rage. Peace out, guys.